from top again, can I have you introduce yourself? What you do? What is AltWatcher?
Yeah, my name is Jack. I'm the writer behind the Blue Sky account AltWatcher, and I've been studying and tracking the posts and activity of the Alt National Park Service account across Blue Sky and Facebook since about January of this year.
Okay, wonderful. For now, we're just doing like the preamble. This is not the main thing I want to cover, but I do think it's kind of necessary just for the background of it. I want to talk a bit about the numbers.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'd love to talk about the numbers. What do you want to know?
Yeah, I want to know, like, did they start before you were? They started doing the numbers before you even started tracking them, right?
You know, they did. And actually, the numbers posts were why I initially got interested in this account. When I saw AltNPS post, I forget which number it was, say it was 42.
There's so many numbers.
When I saw them post that number, all I could think of were the Q drops. I spent a long time during COVID and during the immediate aftermath getting really sucked into learning about QAnon and getting familiar with the tone and rhetorical techniques that Q and other conspiracy figures used. And when I saw Alt National Park Service posting random numbers with no context, and especially when I saw them encouraging their followers to try to decrypt what those numbers meant, big alarms went off in my head. And I started just thinking, this is just QAnon again. They're just trying to do Q stuff. And so the numbers were what clued me into, oh, this isn't the same weird little resistance account that I remember it being back during the first Trump administration in 2017, 2018.
Right.
This is now something else. This is now something much more malicious than I originally thought it was. And that started me down a rabbit hole from which I have not escaped.
Yeah, and now I have joined you in that rabbit hole, and I don't think I'm escaping for a while. So
I know. Yeah. Hey, welcome, brother. There's plenty of room.
It's insane. You did talk about the numbers a lot with the Garrison podcast for the BlueAnon episode. So I won't get into it here because that's again not the main point of the video that I want to cover.
Yeah.
So I want to talk a bit more about, like, you said that the moment you realized that something was wrong, something was different, and you started realizing that this is a lot more malicious or at least conspiratorial than it was meant to be. I find that very interesting because the moment I started digging and I realized that it was different as well, I immediately saw a lot of red flags about this being more troublesome, dangerous than what would be on the surface.
Well, I'm curious what your red flags were, because it seems like everyone has different ones.
Right. So I was actually following AltNPS before I found out about you. So I found out about you through Rebecca Watson. She made a video. Yeah, and I watch her regularly. So when she made it and I found out about you, I just immediately knew this is a video I want to work on. I want to follow this, and I started digging into it. And the moment I realized that this wasn't just some role play kind of thing, but possibly something malicious, was I was digging back through the Wayback Machine to find out the pathway trails of AltNPS, and it started out as their website. They started out as just subscribe to our mailing list. And that triggered so many red flags for me, because why would a resistance freedom fighting thing require a mailing list? Because I have a diploma in like digital media, and part of it is like web marketing as well. And a mailing list is to gather emails to sell you stuff. There's really nothing much more to that. So it just went like, oh, this is a marketing gimmick. They are selling something, and it hit like, oh, that there's something else going on here.
Yeah, I actually have been seeing people bring up the problem of, why are you collecting people's names? Why are you collecting people's emails if you're supposedly this anonymous splinter cell of a resistance movement? I've seen people talking about that as recently as, I think, yesterday, when they were encouraging their followers to comment with the word "done" if they had canceled their Disney Plus or Hulu subscription in response to the firing of Jimmy Kimmel.
Right.
And people said, why are you encouraging people to publicly list their names and usernames on a public forum as being a supporter of your movement? If you are a clandestine, hidden operation, why are you gathering people's names and email addresses? Why are you, unless you're just fishing for engagement? Or, like you said with the mailing list, if you're just getting people's lists, emails for a distribution list.
Right. It makes no sense to me that they require all these like hoops to jump through for stuff. Like the whole asking for engagement thing is already a lot of questionable problems there as well, and it really hits home that something is wrong. Right. To get to the main point about AltNPS that I wanted to ask you about is the plagiarism aspect of it. You've tracked a lot of their tweets or whatever Blue Sky post is called now. I think it was called skeets at some point or something.
I think people insist on calling them skeets, and I'm just never going to do that.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
Anyway,
right.
Yeah.
You've been checking a lot of their plagiarism posts, and I find it very fascinating that the way they do it. Can you tell me more about like how do they specifically like plagiarize a news article and the stuff they tend to remove from them?
So it's interesting. The way they plagiarize has actually evolved a lot over time. Originally, when I first started tracking them and first started noticing their plagiarism, it was much more blatant. It really was just reposting a headline, usually just the headline. They didn't usually include more substance than that, often word for word, which made it very easy for me to just look up, where did this exact headline come from? And I could find the exact article from the exact publication that they stole it from. So originally, finding out what they were plagiarizing from was very easy. Just Control-C, Control-V into Google. Boom, there it is, done. After a while, and I suspect after they got enough actual journalists yelling at them for this stuff, they started kind of adjusting their tactics. So what they started doing was they would take longer sections of articles, usually just the first couple paragraphs, but that's still longer than what they were doing before. And they would surgically change individual words or phrases within sentences to try to get past plagiarism detectors. So they would take an entire paragraph, not change the order of sentences or the order of words. They wouldn't rephrase anything. They wouldn't put it in their own words. They would just take the exact thing and change the word usually to the word often or something similar to that. Just go on to like thesaurus.com and look for synonyms and find and replace individual words to try to hide what they were doing.
The laziest like university student plagiarism thing.
Man, not even university. I used to teach 8th graders, and this was the kind of thing that I'd yell at them about.
Yeah.
Like not even college student level stuff here. But they would do that. They would do that constantly. And after a while, they made a pivot, or they tried to make a pivot, where they posted that they were, due to many emails from our supporters, we are going to start including sources at the end of our post to help combat misinformation. And they did this after a solid 6 months of never providing a source for anything they posted.
Right.
So they were.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was there for that because it was right after Rebecca wasn't posted the video, so I think they got more pushback because her channel's relatively large.
I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was notable for me because they did post links for a while and then they just stopped again.
And then they stopped again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They consistently make big promises about what they're going to do, and I won't go off on too much of a tangent about that, but they consistently make promises about changing their behavior or about doing some new thing with their account and with their audience, and then they just don't do it. They do it for a couple weeks, wait for everybody to forget they ever said it, and then stop doing it, because they've been stealing from the New York Times and Wired and all kinds of big publications as recently as I think a week ago.
You have an entire spreadsheet about how about all the things you've been tracking them through, like I remember I saw you post like a screenshot of a spreadsheet of how many numbers post or something.
Yeah, way to out me as a nerd there, man.
Yeah, that's our favorite stuff to do is spreadsheets. That's
Yeah,
because spreadsheets are so fun.
I know. It's not like that's what I do for my work all day, as it is.
Right, exactly.
I'll pull it up. Hang on a second.
Yeah, you can tell how nerdy a person by how basic their software usage is. People think, oh, Aiden's a writer. He probably uses some super specialized software. No, I'm using Notepad.
Yeah, exactly. I'm using Notepad. I'm using WordPad.
Yeah, it's just Notepad. Who cares?
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have like it's tracking all the stuff. Do you have like a gauge of how many outlets they've stolen from?
How many outlets?
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be dozens. I'm looking at my section of the spreadsheet right now called AltNPS reposted headlines. And how many different publications? I mean, I'm looking at dozens of names here: Washington Post, Associated Press, Politico. They love taking from Politico.
Yeah.
Reuters, NBC, USA Today. I mean, it just keeps going. And that's just the big ones. They also like taking from small local outlets that would get to local stories first.
Right. Is that like this is just my curiosity. Is that like a area focus for the local outlets?
Not as far as I can tell. I mean, the local ones I've seen, like I'm looking at the Kansas Reflector, the Michigan Advance, lots of one from Boston, one from New York, Chicago.
Right.
So not really. They're local outlets. I'm guessing they're getting that coverage from larger outlets that link to those smaller outlets. Someone in my comments once described AltNPS's tactics as the don't cite Wikipedia, cite Wikipedia's reference page strategy.
Okay.
So I'm guessing that they're starting with like Washington Post, who says originally reported by Local 10 News, Boston, and then AltNPS goes to that one instead.
Right, that makes a lot more sense. And the meat of my video, and the reason why I wanted to talk to you is, you've talked a lot about how, when they remove like the names of the people involved in the story, they are also removing like victims and the names of not just the reporters but also victims who are part of the story, who has risked their lives, their safety to share this with us. And you've been quite passionate about that, and I wanted to get you to talk about it a little more if you could.
Yeah, the one that springs to mind is when they talked about detainees at the alligator Alcatraz,
yes, I remember
facility
that
in Florida.
That really hurt.
Yeah, that one was rough. They grabbed reporting from. My guess is that they got it from. I believe it was NBC and CBS talked about it, but excuse me.
No problem.
But originally it came from, my God, I can't think of this right now.
It's no problem.
It came from Telemundo originally. These two men who were being detained at the Alligator Alcatraz facility in Florida contacted Telemundo, a local outlet, I believe in Florida, to tell the story of the conditions that they were living in. They reported this to Telemundo in Spanish. In English language coverage, it was picked up by CBS and NBC News. And I'm guessing that's where AltNPS found it. But when they talked about it, they said that this information was being reported directly from detainees at Alligator Alcatraz. But they didn't say that it was being reported to Telemundo. They just said it came directly from detainees, with the implication being that it came directly from those detainees to the Alt National Park Service. That these men who were in this facility, who were suffering in this facility, were contacting the park rangers to try and tell their story. And when that story was being told, at least as AltNPS told it, they didn't even bother listing those men's names. They didn't say who those two men were. And that's the part that gets me. That's the part that makes everything so clear. It makes this account's cynicism so clear. Because those two men were named Vladimir Miranda and Leamsi Izquierdo, and they were suffering in that facility. And AltNPS did not care enough to say their names. This is not an account I can take seriously. This is not an account that wants change. This is an account that wants clout, and it wants clicks, and it wants attention.
Yeah, listening to that story, it feels like a pit just dropped in my stomach every time I hear it, because I've also worked with victims of terrible things before, and the idea that you could just remove the names of these people who are brave enough to share what's happening to them for us, basically, it's a kind of they're kind of like giving their story away, and just removing it is I that was the moment where I went like, oh, AltNPS might actually be straight up evil in a sense.
Yeah. I think I've also had a very similar moment with them, and I wish I could say it had come earlier. You know, I wish that I had come around to the idea, not that these people are just cynical grifters, but that they are villains. Because for me, it was a couple months after that. This was just a few weeks ago, when they stole a big section of an article from Wired magazine. Again, about ICE detention centers, this time about the status of 911 calls within those detention centers. And this time, they described all these horrible things that were being reported through 911 calls to these detention centers. You know, medical emergencies, attacks, assaults, disease, all this stuff. But the original Wired article also listed suicide attempts.
Jesus.
And AltNPS surgically did not mention the word suicide. And the only reason you would do that is because you are trying to not get buried by the algorithm on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. The word suicide is very highly regulated on those platforms. That's why a lot of users use euphemisms, like unalive, you know.
Yeah, when you said that, I immediately thought I would remove that from a post if I was just trying to gain clout.
If you were, yeah, exactly. It limits your reach. It limits your engagement. But you know who didn't care about that? Was Wired. Journalists. Journalists don't care about that because what they want is to get the real story out. They want to inform the public. What AltNPS wants to do is get as much engagement as possible. And if that means that they will remove mentions of the word suicide from their post, if they will erase the suffering of the people who are attempting suicide in these facilities, then they don't care about the detainees in these facilities. They don't care about the health and safety of these people. What they care about is clicks. What they care about is engagement. And as I said when I looked into this, I am someone who has lost a loved one to suicide. And this was really the moment when my irritation with AltNPS turned into rage at these people. That I don't know what they could do to change my mind about them at this point. And up until this point, I was willing. I was willing for them to be able to change and improve. And now I don't know if I can.
Yeah, I don't think there's a way for them to come back from a lot of the stuff they've done. It's not, the problem is that a lot of the stuff that is like we said, like villainous, aren't surface level. It only happens when you understand a little bit more about how they post and what they're posting and the reason for a lot of the stuff they do. Like you said, removing the word suicide from the post, and that has brought a kind of tension between you and some of their followers. I've seen a couple of them still defending AltNPS.
It has, yeah. That happens sometimes.
Yeah, have you managed to bring a lot of people around? I know it's not what you do, like the whole debate and online debate thing is not really the point, but were you able to bring some of these staunch supporters around?
You're right that it's never been a focus of my work with this account, but as it happens, yeah, I've had a few people go out of their way to tell me that they used to follow this account. They used to believe what AltNPS said. They used to think it was real,
like myself,
and that it was through my work that they realized, oh, I think this is bullshit, and they stopped following it. And that does feel good. But to be clear, those people I think were fairly normie, casual followers of the account. I think they were people who just kind of followed it casually, would see the occasional post. They weren't diehards. I don't think I've reached the diehards.
The diehards would be, I would guess, people who supports them on like even their stores and stuff, right? Like a fandom kind of thing. Would that be a accurate way to say it?
I think it would. I mean, I think comparing the following of AltNPS to a fandom is pretty accurate. There are people who genuinely think the account is real and is an underground, spy ring of resistance operators. But there are also people who just follow the account just kind of to cheer it on, who maybe aren't relying on it for to save the day, but who would love it if they did. And I think that's an important difference. People who are staking a lot of emotional weight on this account, and people who just enjoy it and think it's cool and real. Those are two different groups of people that often overlap, but they're coming to their fandom and their support of this account for different reasons.
That's the very QAnon part about this, right? Where when we were talking about QAnon earlier, that there's this like group that is the people who are just interested in it, and then they start becoming the fans, trying to decrypt their messages and buying the merch. That's the part where it gets a bit more dangerous.
Yeah, I think. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. Yeah.
No, I think I completely agree. Is that there is an angle of this. That was why the first article I wrote about this topic was the Alt National Park Service sounds an awful lot like QAnon. is that, yes, the numbers posting and the vague posts about that sound like code words that encourage people to decode it, yes, that all does sound very QE to me. It's pretty clearly what the inspiration was, along with, bad spy movies. But what really stuck out to me as reminiscent of QAnon is the die-hard, completely unshakable faith that some commenters seem to have in the Alt National Park Service. That they need to believe that this is a real movement of professional operators who are working to save the day. They need to believe that patriots are in control. They need to believe that the storm is coming.
Right.
And just because they're coming at it from the opposite political angle, I think the psychological underpinnings are still there.
We are not immune to propaganda, basically.
You are not immune to propaganda. Exactly.
The Zoom is telling me that my meeting will end in 10 minutes.
Oh no. Oh, no. Okay. So let's hit it. What do you want to talk about?
All right. I'm taking over which one is more important. Let's start with the newest thing. Is I just saw you post something about the Yosemite Climbing Association.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. In July, AltNPS announced that every 2 weeks they were going to be donating money to a different organization that they saw as important and doing good work. And that was 10 weeks ago. So they have not been doing that. They have not donated to any other organizations. I still haven't been able to confirm that they donated to the first organization they said they were gonna. I've tried emailing that organization. They haven't gotten back to me, which, of course, they're under no obligation to. I am a guy on the internet. I'm some dude with a blog. They don't owe me access to their financial records. But AltNPS said that they are going to donate, I think it was $5,000 to the Yosemite Climbing Association, which is a real, and as far as I can tell, a perfectly legitimate organization of people who love Yosemite National Park. But I saw someone point out, and I wish I could remember who said this in my comments because I don't want to take credit for this idea, but they pointed out that it's weird that AltNPS, out of any possible organization, picked a niche climbing history association for a national park.
Right.
They didn't pick a legal defense fund. It wasn't like an unemployment fund for people who've been fired. They picked a climbing club. And then they didn't say anything about it for about 2 months. And then this week, they said, we're raising money for everybody who wants to donate to the same organization. It's the Yosemite Climbing Club again.
Yeah, this is one of the things that gets to me, like what I'm trying to cover in my video is this like idea of stolen valor. They steal, like, even with this Yosemite Climbing Club Association thing, it's like, why them? Because there are so many better organizations to give to. And looking into the story, like the other OutGov accounts, the so-called verified out accounts, they did also do attempt to do a fundraiser, which from what I can gather actually goes to some really helpful organization and charity, but it got a fraction of the interactivity with that AltNPS have gotten, and it kind of makes me wonder, like, the damage, are they doing damage to actual activists by taking away the spotlight from people who can actually like do what they do in a proper way, not just the charity thing, not just the collection of money, but also the dissemination of information? Because recently the AltFDA account posted something about RFK Jr.'s new plans with the with a drug. I can't remember what it was exactly about, but they posted it like 30 minutes before any other news outlet picked up on it. So that was like a real insider information kind of thing. And if I was looking to gather information for whatever resistance things that I want to do, that would be so important for someone like me to know.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was following AltNPS, I would never figure that out because I would have to wait for them to steal someone else's article. And there's such a big gap in like information dissemination. So even without any fake news in it, the delay for their role playing, do you see like do you think there's like a actual damage to it?
I think there really is. I mean, I think part of the harm of AltNPS, outside of the conspiracism, beyond the plagiarism, is the distraction. You know, they are sucking the air out of the room for a lot of people, where they are saying that you don't have to go out and protest. You don't have to. You don't have to support journalism. They'd love it if you didn't support journalism. You don't have to engage in real activism. You can just like and follow. You know, they are taking away attention from real activists, from real on the ground reporting, from real on the ground engagement, and from communities that are doing what they can to protect themselves. Like there's a YouTube channel I follow called Internet Today. They do a lot of, you know, weekly weird news type stuff, and they're based in LA. And when the LA protests were going down earlier this year, Internet Today, they're a big YouTube channel. They have like 300K, something like that. They would constantly be putting on local independent journalists and outlets like LA Taco and just independent journalists in their city. You know, they would be saying, please stop watching our video and go follow these people because they're the ones who are out there doing the real work. AltNPS never does that. They never do it. They don't do it when they're encouraging people to do Facebook check-ins, you know, at Mar-a-Lago. They don't do it when they're reposting the work of journalists in LA and saying that they did it instead. They don't build community. They don't disseminate information. They wait for other people to disseminate information and claim credit for themselves instead.
There's also like the dangers of it because, like you said, they get their followers to post publicly on the platform, so it's kind of like reverse notoriety. Instead of giving the fame to the people who's done the work, they are giving the danger to their followers instead. The problems of being out in a public space and putting their name out in the open as well.
That's a great point. Yeah, they're offloading the danger of activism onto their followers because AltNPS isn't getting any of this heat. They're anonymous. They're a ghost. They're faceless, but they're encouraging you to take on that danger on their behalf.
I still have some more questions, but the Zoom time is ticking down.
I haven't used Zoom in quite a while. Can you still just hang up and call again?
I have no idea. Can we try that?
Why don't we just give that a shot?
Yeah, I'm gonna give that a shot. Give me a moment.
All right, sounds good.
All right. Hello?
There we go.
All right.
We working?
Yes. I don't see the timer anymore, so let's hope I have another half an hour.
All right. Awesome.
Before the great power of capitalism takes it away.
Before the tendrils sink back in.
Yeah. All right. That little jump made me forget what I was gonna ask. What were we talking about? We were talking about the
how they distract from real activism and how they make people take on the danger for themselves.
Right. I have a tangent. Sorry, you have to give me a moment to refocus my thought.
You're good.
Yeah. Let me see. I'll just ask one of the prepared questions I have first. So maybe when this thing comes back, I will. How long do you think you will be, tracking out NPS as a thing? Because I don't imagine this to be a easy feat. It does take up some time. That, you know, if a person like me, I would be like, I'd rather be playing video games than constantly focus my time on something like these groups of people.
I mean, Hades 2 is coming out in a little bit, and that'll probably take me away from this project for a while.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It's, to be honest, I don't know. A friend of mine joked a while ago that, well, everybody needs a hobby, I guess. And when it comes down to it, this has become a hobby of mine. You know, it's something I just kind of find. It's weird to say that I find it calming at this point. Just going on to Blue Sky or whatever, looking up the words Alt National Park Service and seeing what happened that day and just collecting a new thing they said and adding it to the spreadsheet. It's weirdly zen in a way I wasn't expecting, especially when I started this project. But I see myself doing it for, I don't know, I suppose as long as they post. I realized after a while of working on this that this has given me something to focus on during scary political times. It's given me something that I feel like I can do. This is how I can contribute, is helping people not get sucked in by grifters and frauds and conspiracism. I can do my little part to help with that. And I think that's going to motivate me to keep with this project, to stay on AltNPS and keep monitoring what they're doing, just to try and get as many people out as I can.
Right. Well, I do hope you're taking care of yourself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because
hey, that's what therapy's for.
Yeah, but therapy is expensive.
Yeah.
I recently made a video talking about this exact thing, about how people have their own skill sets to do very specific niche things in a very specific way for resistance. I think you're kind of embodying that. And
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you know about. I know you don't keep in contact with the other AltGov accounts because there's like some wall of separation for what's the word? I can't remember the word, but there's like a for reputation sense, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But from what I can tell, the other Alt accounts, at least the ones that are more verified than AltNPS, they hold you in quite a high regard, by the way.
Oddly enough, I've noticed that too.
Yeah,
I think
they call you like the Watcher. Like
I know. I saw that. That was really funny.
Yeah,
they've threatened to sick me on each other before.
Yeah,
that is a really funny development.
Yeah, I know. And it's quite interesting because even when I have talked to some of the other accounts for this video as well, and they've said that what you're doing is quite important because having a third party to vet and just keep everything in check.
Sorry, hang on a second.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh my god. Oh, okay. Yep, we're good.
Yeah.
Sorry. As you were talking,
yes.
As you were talking, a fucking spider walked down the wall.
Oh shit!
About 6 inches from my head. Sorry, I had to take care of that.
All right, it's fine. It's fine. It's just a spider. Did you glass it? I heard glass. I heard like a glass. Did you like put a cup over it or something?
Oh no, I should have. I panicked and I just hit it with my elbow.
Oh damn! All right. R.I.P. spider.
R.I.P.
All right.
Just a little tiny one. I don't know. I'm glad I got it because my wife would have screamed.
Oh, okay. So. Yeah. All right. I was saying that.
Anyway.
Well, damn, that really threw me off.
A third party.
Yes, having a third party to just keep things in check is pretty good. Is that something that you think that you're doing, or is that something that is conscious in your effort?
You know, I wouldn't call it conscious. At least not at first. I know now that I'm more aware of that dynamic, it's something that I kind of keep in mind. I do suspect, and I obviously haven't wanted to ask the other accounts about this, but I do kind of suspect, like you said, that they're happy that there's someone who is there to criticize the big fish in the pond, which is AltNPS, so that they don't have to. Because the times where I've seen like Alt FDA or Alt CDC, I think it's Alt NASA.
Yeah.
One of them.
Either Out NASA or or Rogue Space Force.
Oh yes, it's Space Force.
Yeah, Space Force.
Yeah. I've seen them, criticize AltNPS before, and they get dogpiled, man. I mean, there are people in their comments saying that, well, you must be fake then.
Right.
We can't trust you in that case. And so I suspect that a lot of them are just happy that there's now a third party whose job is to take the heat for them.
Right.
Because I don't care if someone comes into my comments and,
right.
Says that I'm like a secret MAGA spy.
You don't have the danger of being an active federal worker or contractor hung over
yes,
you.
That's true. Right? I am just a regular guy, and I operate this account under my real name.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot to lose. I'm just a citizen.
Yeah. I get that feeling a lot. Heckling really shit stuff under your real name.
I know, it's like, hey, listen, I'm just a guy.
Yeah.
If you think I'm a secret like MAGA infiltrator, you can go to my real account under my real name and see what my real politics are.
Yeah, I have a link.
Not a big deal.
I have a LinkedIn. I have a Substack or whatever. You can just find me.
Dude, that's my thing. Yeah, you can find my real life LinkedIn.
Oh damn!
Like it's right there. You can find me.
I have a LinkedIn. I just never used it.
Oh, I use it as little as possible.
Oh yeah, I hate it.
Don't get me wrong.
I hate that.
LinkedIn
site.
Is a terrible place.
Yeah, it is. I use that site just to track scammers.
Oh, hey, see, it's great for that though.
Yeah. All right. I remember what question I wanted to ask you, which is how far have you dug into AltNPS? Like, I went deep in the source. I really tried to find them. I went short of doxing. I think. Yeah.
See, I'm curious what you found, because I've tried. I've tried looking into like business registrations for our parks. Early on as part of this little investigation I'm doing, I bought a sticker.
Right.
I spent $350.
I did that too. I was trying.
Oh my god, did you really?
I couldn't get it delivered because I don't live in the US, so I ordered it to a fake address, and I just tried to track the bank account number. It just went to Shopify, and I'm like, oh shit, that's a dead end. Okay, that sucks. Yeah, I did stuff.
You went deeper than I did. I just tried to find. I went by the address on the envelope.
Did you get an address?
There was a return address on it.
Is it the I'm not sure if you can share it with me, because I did find an address for AltNPS. Is it the one that's next to a traveling mailbox or something?
Oh no, I don't know that. This one was in Colorado somewhere.
Oh, I think it's actually Colorado. Give me a second. I have it somewhere. Let me try.
I actually might have it too. Hang on a second.
A few minutes later.
Okay, I don't know if you're back yet or not.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, cool. I actually just got up and I found the letter they sent me.
Oh.
Let's see. It's from Our Parks. You know what? Why don't I type this to you?
Yeah.
That probably makes more sense than reading it out loud. 1 second here. Were you just sitting here waiting on me the whole time?
No, I was trying to find out the address that I found.
Okay, good. Sorry. I was worried about that.
Which I did. Yeah, the address I found was in North Carolina.
That's ringing a bell. I feel like I randomly saw somebody mention a North Carolina address at some point.
Yeah, but all the address, I've actually found multiple addresses, but they're just everywhere in the States. There's one in North Carolina, one in Illinois, one in Colorado, one in Florida. It just bounces around. So they're definitely doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because I mean, it's like some kind of drop shipping thing, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, because the North Carolina address it's for a service called Traveling Mailbox, which is like a mailbox redirection. But I don't think they registered under AltNPS or AltPox because I did email them and they didn't. They said they didn't have a customer by that name, so I have no idea. So that's a dead end for me.
That's interesting because the fact that it's under a mailbox rerouting service,
yeah,
does speak to like a level of intention.
Yeah, the thing is, the interesting thing about this is on like Google, like for Google reviews, and the first person who posted this, I actually tried to get in contact with them because for it to note that this is Alt National Park Service, someone has to have had the address at first.
Yes, that's my thing. Their name and their info is somewhere.
Yeah, so that very first person would be the person with the address who somehow put this to the traveling mailbox address. I did try to contact them, didn't get any success, but that's kind of the feeling, that's kind of the experience I've had right now with AltNPS, in that I've tried to contact pretty much everyone adjacent to them and I've gotten nothing. I've contacted the writers for their blog, I've contacted artists for their for some of their artworks. Everyone's just gone. Like, it is so weird.
It is genuinely weird how thoroughly anonymous this account is.
Yeah.
Like I've said before that like the way they talk and the way they deflect like speaks to a certain level of public relations skill, and marketing skill. But with all this, I really wonder, this isn't something that you just kind of stumble on, right?
Yeah, you have to like prepare for it, because like I tracked I really went deep. I tracked their webpage. It used to be Outparks.org, used to be under Parkland Foundation. It is an actual like Parks Foundation, and
interesting.
And they gave up their address to move to a new address. I think around 2022. I have a timeline. Give me a moment. Let's see. They had it until 2019. It was defunct for 2020, and 2021 was when AltNPS picked it up. And
so that also speaks to the weird gap in their coverage.
Yeah,
right?
And before that, they had two other websites for themselves. One is just AltNPS.org, and the other one is called AltISpy, which is where they put their mailing list on. And it was really weird because from a marketing standpoint, from my one course in marketing, the only reason we would do this is like it's an A/B testing to see which site gets the most traction.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So if I was doing something like this is what I would do. I would have multiple websites and see which one gets the most go through,
Really interesting. So again, speaking to a level of marketing skill.
Yeah, it's so weird because like everything I look at, it just goes back to this. And I even tried, like, I'm not sure if you knew that there was another Alt National Park Service account, and it was also one of the unverified accounts as well. So national parks is a thing that they like to use for unverified accounts, I guess.
Okay.
And I tracked that out, and they also have a similar, MO, but less refined. I couldn't tell if they were the same, but it's just really, really strange because I can't definitively say that the previous Alt National Parks is the same as AltNPS, but it's so similar that it's kind of shocking, the things they do, like how they get artworks from their quote-unquote fans and stuff. Yeah, it's just, and they also have a tendency to remove some of the sources for their articles, but not to the same extent. But if I put it on the timeline, it kind of seems like an evolution of an idea.
Sure.
Yeah.
The previous was 1.0.
Yeah, so
this is 2.0.
Yeah, it's kind of really it's really messing with me because I usually when I do this kind of deep dive, I want to be sure. I want to say, hey, I can nail this down right here, but I can't do it here, even though everything seems wrong.
I know, that's the thing. It's like it seems like this is the thing. This is what makes me feel. Oh man, it's kind of makes me understand some of the followers of this stuff or people who got really into like ARGs, like alternate reality games,
Right.
you know, which I never got into really. But this makes me understand it because yes, I can criticize this account for acting like a fake spy. You know, I can try to help people kind of get out from thinking that this is a real thing, that they're real insiders, that they're real spies. But at the same time, this shit gets me so excited. I'm so fascinated by this.
So spy-like, right? It's like
so spy-like.
Yeah.
It feels like you're in the X-Files.
Right.
You know? But really all this is just some scammer on the internet.
Yeah, it's just
who's good at covering their tracks.
It's just some weird guy
mundane.
lopping as a resistance guy selling T-shirts.
Yeah, and laughing at dorks like me who are wagging their finger at them. You know, they're laughing all the way to the bank.
Yeah.
But I can't stop being so fascinated by all this like deep dive into it's like forensics you're doing over here. I'm like, oh my god, I can't wait to see this video.
I mean, I'll be honest, I don't know how much of what I found will be in the video because I didn't find anything.
Oh yeah. Hey, I mean that's an interesting angle by itself. But also I don't blame you. I don't blame you if you're like,
I can't.
Okay, if I spending 40 minutes talking about how I didn't get anywhere, is it going to be that interesting?
Yes,
I do get that.
I can put in the stuff that I did confirm, which is weird because, like the real Alt accounts, the verified Alt accounts, I call them, I contacted them relatively easily compared to AltNPS.
Yeah,
it took me like no effort at all, and so much so that they were really kind and very interested in like sharing what they've done.
Yeah, the ones I've spoken to have been universally very nice people.
Yeah, which makes this even weirder.
Yeah,
you're probably the only other person on earth who I can tell you that AltNPS is driving me insane, and you would understand why.
I understand exactly how, too. I know exactly how they're driving you crazy.
Yeah. So that's yeah. Oh, there's one more question. Have you ever heard of this group called AltYello National Park?
Yes, I've just dipped my toe into that one. I've had people recommend that I look into them as well.
Oh,
and from what I've seen of them, they've had their moments.
You're gonna have fun with that.
Yeah. From what I've seen, they seem a little more unhinged.
They're a different breed. I'm still looking them up. I might or might not put their stuff in the video, depending on whether or not I get an email back from the person I sent it to. But
sure,
they're grift. I wouldn't even say like it's entirely a grift. It's just weird. Is that they're a researcher in Yellowstone, but for some reason they're based in a state that is not part of Yellowstone, and
what?
Yeah, the only name that I have is from is this guy called what's his name, Dan Robertson or something. Give me a second. I have so many tabs open on this.
I have so many screenshots. I actually was just looking at. Hang on a second. Yeah, there it is. Somebody didn't send me a link. They posted about a website that I think it was one of the other alt accounts. I forget who. Was talking about how they were kind of laughing at like, AltNPS's old website went down.
That's from AltYello National Park. One of the old website went down. that was me. I found out. I told them.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yeah, one of AltYello's national park, one of their website got turned over to a Indonesian gambling site redirection.
Yes, it was a gambling scam. That was defendourparks.org, right?
Yes, right. That was the one. Because I've been like refreshing it every now and then just to make sure that it's still there. And I woke up yesterday and I was like, it's gone. It's just not. Oh
God, that's hysterical.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, I've been looking into AltYello as well. They're weird as well. The only name I have is this guy named Daniel Robertson. Is that how you say it? And Daniel Robertson. Nothing makes sense for these people. Like no matter how much I look, everything just doesn't track. And
yeah, it's like you're trying to apply
logic to.
You're trying to apply logic to like scammer moon logic,
right?
And where just nothing needs to make sense. It's all just in the pursuit of engagement, and if they get engagement and money, they don't care if it makes sense.
Yeah, and I think that's like the thing that gets me. Like, have you ever made an estimate on how much do you think like AltNPS have gotten out of this?
Oh no, I haven't. I want to say I saw one of the other alts estimate that once.
Right.
And the numbers made sense to me, but I can't remember what the number was right now.
Right. I'm just asking because I did my own estimation and it's still, I think I'm lowballing it, to be honest. Yeah. I think it's like 200,000 or something. That's like,
oh my God.
That's a low, very low balling it because it could be anywhere between that and like 5 times more.
So here's a related claim about the money and the t-shirts and whatnot, is that when people bring up that AltNPS sells t-shirts and sells merch, there might be people who will respond, well, they produce them at cost. They're selling them at cost.
Oh, do they actually say that, by the way?
No, that's the thing. I've looked into it. I don't think AltNPS has ever said that.
Yeah, because
I don't think they've ever said that. I think that's their followers saying it for them.
The followers saying, you'll be so happy to know that I tracked down the shirts.
Oh my God! I am so happy to know that.
I know they don't make it at cost.
Yes! Oh my God! I am so excited for this video.
This is. It's just a very small segment of videos. There's a blink and you'll miss it thing, but I know
still, it's gonna be a big deal for me.
Yeah, all right. You're gonna be so happy about it. That's the only success I've had in this, and I literally did the most insane thing to get this.
Okay. Well, now I'm very curious.
Yeah, it's insane for people like me to notice this and do it. That's all.
All right. Yeah. Looking forward to it.
When you got the stickers, by the way, did you ever get your sticker?
I did actually receive my sticker, yes.
Right. Was there any like markings on it? Because sometimes the manufacturers will put a marking on it.
Let's see. I am looking at it right now. Not as far as I can tell. No.
All right then. That's fine. Oh, what you said another weird thing. You said that their supporters have said that they made the stuff at cost.
Mm-hmm.
Why would they raise money by making something at cost?
My God, I never thought of that. Why would you do that if you're doing it at cost?
Yeah, that makes no sense.
Like that's the defense people have gone to.
Right.
Why would you do that?
I got another.
Like to raise awareness, I guess.
Yeah.
But you could do that without making t-shirts.
Yeah.
God, I never thought of that.
Yeah. Zoom is telling me 10 minutes again.
All right. I think sounds good. And I should be going to bed pretty soon anyway.
Let's just finish this up. Do you have anything that you want to say to my audience that you just want to put it out there?
You know, the thing that I always want to add is that I do go out of my way to be kind to the followers of this account. That it's easy to dunk on people for following something like this, for believing in something like this, and for falling for a scam. But I think they fall for it because of hope. They are hanging on to hope. They're hanging on to the desire for a better tomorrow, and they just need something to hang on to, because our institutions are not that thing right now. You can't hang on to our institutions right now. You can't hang on to our politicians right now. And there are people who are desperate for something to hold on to. And some people have decided that the Alt National Park Service is that thing. And I can't blame anybody for that. So I always want to make clear that in my writing and in my work, that the followers are not the problem. The account is the problem. I want to be careful not to, I want to blame the scammer for scamming people. I don't want to blame the victims of the scammer for getting scammed. So when you talk about AltNPS, and I mean the royal you, not you in particular,
Right.
When you look at AltNPS and you see the people in the comments who are fawning over the account, please see them with kindness and with empathy. You know, see them as people who are smart and people who can be brought back out of this, and people who deserve respect. You know, they're looking for a light in the darkness. They're looking for hope. And just because that hope is being taken advantage of doesn't mean it's not real. Doesn't mean that they don't deserve respect from the rest of us.
I think that's a wonderful way to end this. I want to thank you again so much for talking to me. This has been quite amazing to talk about, to be honest.
Yeah, man, it's really fun. This is a great talk.
It's not often that I get to talk with people who has gone down the same rabbit hole as I have. I've gone down really weird rabbit holes, and I have to just keep so much stuff in. I
know. I just, part of the reason I even started this blog is to spare my poor wife from having to hear about this all the time.
Yeah,
she's like, you could start a blog about this maybe, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, you must go up to her and just go like, oh, blah blah blah, AltNPS.
I know, this poor girl. She's heard so much about this stupid account.
All right, I don't want to take up more of your time. Again, thank you so much for talking to me. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. First, an announcement. The next video, which will be the last video in this AltNPS series, is going to be a week late because it got too big again. And finally, thanks to all my Patreon for their continued support, especially my VIP top tier Patreon. Especially my VIP top tier Patreon, BBQ. You'll see that stupid torch come up in the video. I'll see you next time. Bye.